Father's Day puts the focus not only on dads, but also on the importance of family and family values. That's something that several Westside pastors and community leaders say is key to decreasing the violence on Chicago streets. Nate Rogers has more in this special report.
It's gonna be the summer, so you know it's gonna get rough.
This Chicago mother who didn't want to be identified knows just how rough the streets of Chicago can be.
Since 2015, I can count on my hand at least 30 young men I know who got killed.
She's doing everything she can to keep her children and some in the neighborhood on the straight and narrow.
I let them know about what happened in the family. I let them know about the friends that they grew up with. No matter what you try to tell the people who doing it or try to talk to your family members or anything, some of them just don't listen.
So far this year, at least 144 children and teens have been shot in Chicago.
Okay, squad, we're going to find out, we're going to confirm, but we're hearing that a baby shot.
He remains critically ill.
Please put the guns down. Our kids want to play.
7-year-old Jaslyn Adams killed in a shooting late Sunday afternoon.
Why? If you had any kids, have you ever took your kids back down? Have you ever took your kids to eat?
21-month-old Caden Swan was shot in the head.
My kids can't even go out the door.
Gang cultures, revenge, retaliation, and street justice.
Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So we need to start loving each other, finding peace, finding solutions to problems.
Street justice will never yield peace.
The value piece, though, starts at home.
Congressman Danny Davis is part of a group of community leaders and pastors who believe focusing on family values can help curb street violence here.
Once you get outside the home, if values have not been instituted from the early beginning, it's hard to convince a child that something is appropriate or inappropriate that has not been laid on them or talked about at the beginning.
It's a message they've been trying to get Chicagoans to listen to.
Innocent lives ended by a bullet. How do we save our children? Protect the innocent.
There is a solution. Families talking, encouraging loved ones not to use guns. That is a solution that can save us all.
And now they are trying again.
My baby was an unintended target.
My mother was shot and killed.
My grandmother.
My son was shot and killed. I was shot while doing everyday things.
But you know,
the saddest thing about it,
we all are victims
of senseless shootings.
Family value begin with a person acknowledging that his life is valuable, precious.
Our job as families is to protect our children the right way. The right way is to love them the correct way.
For this group, that means older family members talking to the younger ones about guns and the impact they can have on the family members who aren't even involved in a gang.
I know that it's hard to say not come around, but if they come around, violence comes with them. It brings danger to the family immediately and to all of those in the vicinity.
Family values is one of the resources that we want to be able to teach them how to mediate conflicts.
We have people that we call Big Mama, usually those individuals have influence over those persons. And if we can have them have the conversations with their loved ones or family members, then we can have them stop or resolve some of the issues.
Once the family lines of communication are open, the pastors say it's important to keep them open and not keep any secrets.
Having that relationship and making each other feel comfortable enough to say, hey, I got caught up into some things, I need your help.
But like this mother said earlier, some kids don't want to listen. For those who are doing that, the pastors have this to say.
To you who are living that lifestyle, What we're really asking, and I'm pleading with you, in fact, I'm begging, be mindful. If you're in a situation where you are a targeted individual, please, please, don't put your family who have not made that choice to live that lifestyle in danger. You're the one that can save them.
He was a kid, an actual kid. He wasn't in the streets.
No gang banging.
We need to start respecting each other in the Black community because nobody else is going to respect us until we respect us.
The first weekend in June alone, over 50 people were shot. 5 died. After living in Chicago for more than 40 years, this Chicago mother has a few ideas of her own about how to help solve this problem.
It's hard out here for these young men. Some of them want to do right. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them want to do right, but some of them, they can't because they think that's the only way out. There's no more programs really out here. A lot of things been closed up, you know, for these youth to go, these children to go. Value your life, you know, love and respect. You be the better one and make it and break the changes, and people look up to you. Don't be following people, be a leader.
With the number of daily shootings in Chicago usually in the double digits, you might want to take a closer look at the list of family values this group of pastors and community leaders say could help reduce violent crime. Here's a quick recap. Know the danger that comes to loved ones when other family members use guns to resolve conflict. Explain how loved ones become unintended targets when seen with targeted family members. Targeted family members should consider avoiding public sighting with innocent loved ones, including outside family gatherings, riding in cars, sitting on porches, etc. Elders of families should be firm about family members' use of guns to lessen the possibility of danger coming to their family's doorstep. Finally, explain to all family members the dangers of keeping secrets of wrongdoing from any family member from the family unit. Remember, the value of the family unit is greater than any one family member. If you'd like more information or have a question for one of the pastors, you can contact them through their website at mediaeditinggroup.com. To watch this segment again, just go to our website, that's fox32chicago.com.